Hey everyone, Chuck Sutton here, and welcome to the very first, drumroll please, sample challenge video. If you missed the explanation in my intro video, let me give you a quick rundown. Whenever announced, you can find the link to the latest sample challenge folder in every video description. With the samples given, you can make any type of beat you want that's at least 30 seconds or longer. The best submissions will be compiled into one of these videos and will be hosted on their own SoundCloud account for everyone to hear. As you can see in the title, it reminds me a lot of Timbaland, who I think is one of the most innovative producers in the hip-hop scene. I wasn't originally attempting his style, but then the beat eventually started to sound like this clip right here. If you want to hear the final product right now, I'll leave a comment with the time marker in the comment section so you can skip ahead without
Searching for forever, I just want to see one part.
Because I had no initial idea in mind for a beat, I wanted to visually walk you through everything that took me from the first 4 samples to the final product. With this video, I'm also introducing the ability to download my Ableton project files. A link in the description will lead to my Bandcamp, where you can hear all the beats I made for this series. I'm going to be putting it up for $5, which means if you pay that once, you'll have access to this project and every other project I put on this YouTube channel. It's a one-time fee. Alright, let's get into the beat. So these were the samples I provided. So the first thing I did is I took my BPM from 120 BPM to 190 and then played the metronome at halftime. Then I grabbed the bongo loop, which is playing pretty fast at 190 BPM, and I slowed it down 4 times its original speed. After playing around with Ableton's beat warping algorithms, the bongo loop ended up making this really wonky rhythm. Then I got the delay percussion and turned down the sustain to its quietest setting, and shortened the decay to get a sharper hit for a snare. I wanted to give the track some variation, so I automated the third snare a bit so that the decay would be longer. That way we get to hear a little bit of that tail again. I grabbed a clap off of my computer and I put it through an audio effect rack. I added 2 output chains so I could keep one signal dry and add an effect to the other chain. In this instance, I added a delay so we could hear 2 claps instead of 1. If this sounds kind of confusing, it's essentially like this. I then played with the glide sound by shortening the tail and adding some reverb to space it out, and then I recorded some quick chords. I ended up changing those chords slightly, and then made a new patch out of the same glide sound. I made a rack where I duplicated the glide, made one of them an octave lower, offset them a bit with some delay, and then panned them apart for a wider stereo field. Then I grabbed the 8-bit stabs I included in the sample pack and added a quick melody that complemented the swing and the other blips I added. I felt they were quite mono, so I ended up playing around with some grain delay to give it more of a stereo flurry effect. Now, I'm a really big fan of splitting my tracks into sections with different types of energy, and I'm not necessarily talking about intro, build up, drop, breakdown. What I'm saying is, like, in my first drop, I'll have one section and then the second section that give different types of energy. So in order to accomplish that here, I ended up taking some of the chords and deactivating the MIDI notes so you couldn't hear them, and it sounds something like this. Now originally I took the audio of the glide chord and just placed it in the second half of my beat, but I end up replacing it with a better sound later. Next I got a kick, and I split it into the highs, mids, and lows so I could affect them all differently. I boosted the lows with some saturation, then I went to the mids, and I played around until I got a nice character that wasn't as thumpy as the first thing I was working with. So now it sounds like this. Instead of using an 808, I actually thought about some of the advice I gave during my lightning feedback video. I believe it was Neon Meow. I said something along the lines of, so as an example, I took a saw wave, I high passed it a bit so I could make room for the sub, added a sine wave, and then a white noise layer, and I just like EQ'd and saturated them, that's all. So I ended up getting something that sounded like this. After playing around a bit, I ended up adding some more of the bass line notes, and it sounds like this. Now this is the part where I was really thinking about the Timbaland video I showed you. So instead of that reverby chord thing I originally made, I took off the reverb and I ended up adding on a French horn sound font, so now it sounds more like this. Around this point is when I was like, okay, I really don't like that glide chord, I'm gonna replace the audio. So in the similar light of the bass line, I took a sine wave and some white noise, and I played around with pitching the sine wave with an LFO, so it made some weird wobbly noises. And I got kind of a flute sound that I refined later, but it originally sounded like this. So then I went back to the delay percussion from earlier. I wanted to make a shaker sound, and one of the best ways to do that synthetically is with white noise. I opened up the oscillator tab in Sampler, and I used the built-in frequency modulation so I could modulate the sound of our delay percussion with white noise until it kind of sounded like a shaker. I really like the bass line we have going, but I think at the first section, I wanted to add some more sub. So I went back to operator and made a sine wave and played around, fed some other things into it, and added a pitch envelope, and that's what's really important about this sound. After finding a pattern for the shaker in the second half, I ended up applying that to the sub in the first half. I wanted the track to get a little bit more funkier. I thought it could just be very more stronger. So I added a couple more bass line notes and it sounds like this. And there you have it, this is the final beat. Hey guys, so I was working on the very last part of this video, and then I realized the audio was messed up for no reason, so I apologize for the change in environment. Before I end this vid, I just want to play for you some of the submissions I got from you guys. This is a video of me reacting to one of my good friends, Gato. He sent in a submission. This is a video of me reacting to Kill the Upstart submission. Here's a video of me reacting to a submission sent in by Justin Silva. And I never got footage of me listening to Neon Meow's submission, so I'm going to do that right now. Damn. So yeah, this week I'm going to be setting up the SoundCloud on which you can check out all these submissions. Thank you so much for watching and have a good one.